Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Potomac and Chesapeake Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you're here. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, if you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. Your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/PCACAC. We are currently in session F1, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentations. So without further ado, I'll kick it off to our first representative from Skidmore College.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Sarah Ireland. I'm Associate Director of Admissions at Skidmore College. Skidmore College is a small liberal arts college in upstate New York. I'll share my screen here in just a minute. We're about 2,500 students. And we're about 3 hours north of New York City and about 3 hours west of Boston. All right. Okay. So Skidmore College is, like I said, a 2,500 small liberal arts college. We have a very diverse community, not only geographically, but also not only with international students, but also 26% of our students this year are domestic students of color. We have a very, very active campus. We have a mixture of majors, 44 different majors. You can major in both the Bachelor of Arts and the Sciences. If you're a student who's interested in studying many different areas, double majoring is actually encouraged at Skidmore. We're very well known for our performing arts. Creative Thought Matters is written all over our website. I will share in the Q&A the link to our kind of online brochure in just a minute. Double majoring, like I said, and a lot of collaborative research. Internships are very available beginning the second semester of your first year. The picture at the bottom there is a picture of our new science building. So as you come into campus, you will not only see the music building, but also the science building as our flagship buildings. One of the things that is very, very unique about us is the small city of Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs is a town of about 30,000 people, but feels like a small city. So if you're a student who maybe is familiar with Annapolis or Old Town Alexandria, very similar feel. Arts and culture are very big, as well as a great music performance called SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts Center. Picture at the bottom shows that we are right in the middle of the Adirondack Mountains, right at the edge there. So very outdoorsy feel to our campus. The middle of campus, you will see there, but we also, the common application is how you would apply. Many different ways to show demonstrated interest. Interviews right now are being conducted by Zoom, but I do want you to know that we are open for tours. So we are open on ways to visit both virtually, you can visit, but also on campus. Tours are available all summer. Different ways, sorry about that, different ways that you can apply. Early decision, round 1 and round 2. Last year we had about 11,000 applications between the ED1 and ED2 and regular decision. And the CSS profile is required for financial aid. And 99% of our financial aid is need-based at Skidmore. So there is my contact information. Like I said, I'll put it in the chat as well, but we encourage you to come visit campus and come take a look at all that you can do at a place like Skidmore. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from Connecticut College.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Riley Hopkins. I am a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Connecticut College. I'll get my screen shared here. Okay. So just to give you some really fast facts about us. We are a small liberal arts college, just under 2,000 students, and we're located in the southeast corner of the state of Connecticut, right on the shore. You can actually see the Long Island Sound from our campus. Our campus is technically the highest elevation in the city of New London, so it's a really beautiful view of the area that we have from our campus. And I'll talk about the area a little bit more. Something that's really important to us and something that's important for all of you to know is that we were founded in 1911, initially as an all-women's institution. And we were founded because at the time, there was no higher education institution in the state of Connecticut that was admitting women. And so we wanted to provide women who have been historically underrepresented in higher education an opportunity to receive an amazing experience in education and become leaders and make change and progress out in the world. We did go co-ed in 1969, but I think that value of providing underrepresented students with an education and that value of progress and all of the things that we were founded upon, those really ring true today. And they've remained true throughout our 100+ year history. And it really guides the way that we foster a sense of community on campus and guides the way that we make decisions around campus as well. 9-to-1 student to professor ratio. We do meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. We are test optional. We have been for many years now. And academics, I'll talk about in just a second as well. One thing that's really unique about us as well, something that's really prominent in the Connecticut College experience is that every student gets a team of 4 different advisors from the second you step on campus as a first year. These include your staff advisor, an academic advisor, a career advisor, and 2 to 3 student advisors as well. Over 50% of students end up going abroad at some point in their time at Con, and over 75% of our students complete a funded internship with funding provided by the college. We are almost 100% residential as well, so all 4 years housing is guaranteed for you, and that's a huge part of the small community experience as well, is being able to live on campus with all of your peers and classmates. So there are 4 things that I'm going to talk about briefly that I hope, if you remember anything about us today, it's these 4 things. Our location in New London, our academic program as a liberal arts college, career development and how we approach career preparation for our students in a liberal arts setting, and the honor code. So starting with our location in New London, I think it's a really unique place to go to college. And this is because it's not a really large city, but it's also not a small rural town. I think it strikes a nice balance of providing students with an opportunity to get out, explore, have access to larger cities around us, while also providing students with a sense of place and really allowing them to feel like they are an active member of the greater New London community off campus. We do have a transportation center in the downtown area of New London that's about 3 minutes away from campus, with buses and trains to take students to Boston in 2 hours in one direction and New York City in 2 hours in the other direction. Our nearest airport is the Providence Airport, around 45 minutes away, but we have access to Hartford and New Haven as well within a 45-minute drive too. So really easy to get to. We're right off of 95. And then when you come into New London, you realize how special of a place it really is. A lot of our students will, through academics and extracurriculars, be involved with a lot of organizations in the area. So community engagement is a huge part of the Connecticut College experience. And the second thing, our academics, we offer a broad range of courses, pretty typical for a liberal arts college. And you really have a lot of agency over how you decide to go about this. However, what's unique to us is that we offer something called pathways. Pathways are opportunities to explore interdisciplinary subjects. They're really niche, really nuanced that you can't major in typically at a liberal arts college. And some of these topics include public health, entrepreneurship, social justice and sustainability, communications, all of these things that you can pursue on top of your major to really make your education way more robust in a liberal arts setting. The third thing that I hope you remember is career development. As I mentioned, each student gets a career advisor. But on top of that, we have a $3,000 funding opportunity for all students to take advantage of. And you get career advising all 4 years to really encourage you to think about connecting your studies with a meaningful and fulfilling career once you graduate. And then that fourth thing is the honor code. The honor code is a major reason why students choose to come to Con in the first place. It's essentially a set of shared values that as a community, we establish in order to make sure that we are fostering a safe environment and encouraging students to be responsible citizens. There's my contact information as well, but I encourage you to check out us a little bit more. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. Just another friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, to feel free to submit those through the Q&A button. Our representatives are here and available to answer your questions. And please note the school name if you have a specific question. Our next representative is from Bentley University.
Great. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Claire Galogli. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Bentley University. So excited to be speaking with all of you this evening. Let me share screen here. Great. So starting things off, I think a little information about us in the most general sense is probably the best way to go. So I'll show you a photo of our campus. And here you can see our proximity to the city of Boston. You'll see the skyline over in the distance there. We are about 9 miles from Boston, so it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get downtown. And we're located in Waltham, which is a small city right outside of Boston. Our campus is very residential. We guarantee housing for all 4 years, and 85% of our students live on campus with us. We've got about 4,200 undergraduate students and about 1,000 graduate students. And our students come from all over. We have 15% international students from around 100 countries, just over 40 states represented. And we're 60-40 male to female split with about 29% undergraduate students of color. So that's kind of our campus in a nutshell, but Bentley is a little different from other schools because we are a specialized institution. We are what is called a business university. So no matter what you study at Bentley, business is fused into it in some way, shape, or form. So let's talk a little bit about academics. Every student at Bentley takes part in our general business core curriculum. This is a curriculum that has foundations in accounting, finance, marketing, management, business law. Essentially, the main things you need to know to both be successful in the business world, but also in other areas. You can absolutely come to Bentley and study business like accounting or finance, or you could come to Bentley and study sustainability science, or you could study how to run a nonprofit. Both of those things, it's important to have a business background. So on top of that general business core curriculum, we have an arts and sciences curriculum as well that's also required. So that's foundations in history, math, science, writing, all that good stuff. These are the choices you have for majors. So you'll certainly see some things that are focused in business, and you'll see some options that are not incredibly oriented to the business realm. We have an option where you can add an optional secondary liberal studies major onto any of our business programs. So especially if you're a student who wants to pursue business but doesn't want to give up learning about diversity in society or learning about global perspectives, you can absolutely add that on to any of our business programs. But at Bentley, learning doesn't just exist inside the classroom. We want you to kind of get your hands dirty, and that might mean technology, internships, studying abroad. And technology is here with our 7 high-tech learning labs. These are spaces that you can just access as a student, or you can also go into with your classes, and they're focused around different themes. The goal with them is really just to get you comfortable with the technology that'll be used in your internships and your career after college. Probably our most fan favorite popular one is our trading room. It is the oldest and largest university trading room in the country. You can graduate from Bentley Bloomberg certified if you wish to do so. And the ticker tape running around the top of the room is only about a few minutes behind the New York Stock Exchange. So very accurate and up-to-date information. Studying abroad is also popular. About 50% of our students go abroad at some point, and you'll see the countries where we have programs scrolling through on the screen here. These could be classic study abroad experiences, or you go abroad for a full year at the London School of Economics, or you could go abroad with a Bentley class. Maybe you take a class on renewable energy investing, and then over spring break, you and your professor go to Iceland and look at how Iceland's renewable energy economy is impacting their GDP. Great way to get that hands-on real world experience. But one of our main goals is really to prepare you for life after college, and that starts with internships. So most of our students are doing an internship. In fact, most of them are doing more than one internship. You'll see here some of the companies where our students have these experiences, and about 95% of these are paid and about half lead to full-time job offers. Many of our internship experiences are found through our career services office. And this is a nationally ranked office. Princeton Review has ranked them #1 in the country for career services for things like the job placement rate and the starting salary our students achieve after graduating from Bentley. But the important thing is to know that you'll have people you can access and resources you can utilize in order to get the help you need to prepare you for those next steps. But I've spent a lot of time talking about our academics and our philosophy of education, but a campus community is also very important, and we feel that we have that at Bentley. Our students are involved in over 100 clubs and organizations. We have 20 varsity sports teams, all of which are Division II, except men's ice hockey, which is Division I. Can't be in New England and not have a ice hockey team, apparently. About 20% of our students are involved in Greek life. So there are a lot of options for students who come to Bentley. Applying is pretty simple. We are a Common App school. We require the basic things that you'll need for an application, like a transcript, letters of recommendation. We're test optional for students who are going to be applying in the fall this year. It's not been decided yet if that will go on in years to come. But pretty straightforward with that, and I will put my contact information in the chat if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. The next representative is from Babson College.
Wonderful, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So good to see you and to meet you and to talk to you tonight about all of our wonderful colleges and universities. My name is Ryan Stanley. I'm on the admission counseling staff at Babson College, which similar to Bentley University, which is literally just down the road from us. We are also a business college. So we are specialized in that field for people who really not necessarily just students who want to go into business fields, but students who want to graduate from their undergraduate education with a business skill set, a business mindset, and a really good idea of how they can apply that to so many different fields, no matter what your interests are. So this is one shot of our campus here. We're in a town called Wellesley, Massachusetts, which is about 10 miles west of the city of Boston, about a 20-minute drive, depending on traffic. And Boston traffic is notorious for being some of the worst around the country, that's for sure. This is our main first-year quad. So this is what some of our residence halls look like. And the building in the foreground is one of our classroom buildings. So our campus in particular, before we go through this mission statement with you, we're a small college. So we're about 2,400 undergraduate students. So each class year has somewhere between 600, 650 students in it. So it's definitely a small place, pretty intimate place as it relates to networking, finding internship opportunities, developing relationships with professors. If you're thinking about a small college and you're interested in business, Babson could certainly be one that's on your list. So everyone at Babson sort of has a business mindset and a business interest. But at Babson in particular, we focus on something called entrepreneurship. And I think oftentimes when students hear entrepreneurship, they think of, famous entrepreneurs, or they think of Silicon Valley and startup culture, or Mark Zuckerberg, right? Those types of people. Those are certainly entrepreneurs, and those are pathways you can take. And we have a good amount of our students who are interested in that type of entrepreneurship. But for us, when we think of entrepreneurship, we think of a mindset and a way of thinking and creating, doing, no matter what you go into, right? We have students working for big restaurant groups. We have students working in the fashion industry. We have a student graduate right now who is a the chief advance man for the mayor of Chicago, right? So it doesn't matter necessarily what field you're interested in. If you're passionate about being creative and innovative, an entrepreneurship education could be of interest to you. So this is our short mission statement. It has to do with economic value, but even more important to us is social value and problem solving. And how do we do that in every field that you might end up in, right? How are you going to end up as that person who sees opportunities that others don't? Where do you learn that mindset? Well, you can come to Babson and learn a mindset like that through our curriculum. Our big ranking, of course, and what a lot of people know us for is entrepreneurship. We are #1 for entrepreneurship. It's been 24 years in a row. So it's definitely our niche, and it's definitely what we do really well. And at Babson, we have this thing called ET&A. That's the acronym, Entrepreneurial Thought in Action. We refer to it a lot. It's a way of teaching. It's a way of learning through the curriculum. It's also about entrepreneurship of all kinds, right? So you don't need to start a business to be an entrepreneur. This picture right here is actually of one of our first-year classes called Foundations of Management and Entrepreneurship. We call it FME for short. It's a class that every first-year student takes at Babson. It's a required course. Essentially, you spend your entire first year building and launching a business with seed money from Babson. Obviously, I've just said you don't need to start a business to be an entrepreneur, but it's a great way to start to learn that mindset and to start to think like an entrepreneur and identify opportunities and solve problems and pivot effectively when things don't go according to plan with your business. So you spend your entire first year basically going through ideation, rocket pitching, feasibility pitching, all the pitching rounds. You write up your business plan, you make your ask for funding from the professors. You come back in the spring semester and you run that business on campus in Boston, on the internet, whatever your business model is. So that's the introduction to our core curriculum at Babson. Everyone at Babson is in a Bachelor of Science degree with a focus in business. So it's the same degree program, but once you're through the courses like FME, Intro to Financial Accounting and Business Law, Finance, all these broad-based business core curriculum courses, you choose up to 2 concentration areas. So that's really where you get to focus your degree at Babson. So you might say, I want to study finance and accounting, or finance and marketing, right? You might not concentrate at all. It depends on your interests. Students do really go through the Babson degree program with no concentration. So you can choose the different courses from the different academic areas, whether it's liberal arts or business, to create the type of business degree that you want to leave Babson College with. So we do have those traditional areas like finance, accounting, and marketing, but about half the concentrations are liberal arts. So we have a lot of students at Babson studying literature and visual arts. We have technology and design concentrations, legal studies. Some of our students are doing environmental sustainability as a concentration area, right? I have a student right now who works in my office who's passionate about climate change and solving the problems of climate change around the world through business entrepreneurial mindsets. So she takes that up in addition to a marketing concentration. So depending on your interests, business and something else, you oftentimes can make it work at a school like Babson. So here's a quick chart of application deadlines for you. Quick thing to note, we are a test optional college, at least for the next 3 admission cycles as well. So if you're on this webinar, you are likely falling under a test optional policy at Babson for these admission deadlines. We'd love for you to come visit us this summer. If you're thinking about business, you're going to be in the Boston area. We will open for tours late June, early July. So definitely check out our visit pages online. It's a wonderful New England college campus, and we'd love for you to check it out. Thanks, everyone.
Very helpful. Thank you. Before we hear from our next 2 representatives, just another friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, so feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. Any question at all about the college application process or even about a specific school, we encourage you to include the school name and to submit those questions before the end of this session. Our next representative is from Emmanuel College.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is John Lee. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions at Emmanuel College. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, awesome. So a little bit about us. We're a small private liberal arts university in Boston, Massachusetts. So you can see our main campus here in the Fenway neighborhood. We're about 10 minutes away from Fenway Park, where the Red Sox play. You can also see the Prudential Center as well as the Back Bay neighborhood right here in this picture. Kind of going into what we offer for education, we actually have 5 schools underneath the college, them being the School of Business and Management, the School of Science and Health, the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, the School of Education, as well as our Wilkins School of Nursing and Clinical Sciences. Within those 5 schools, we actually have 70 plus majors, minors, as well as other areas of study. We additionally also have 94 full-time faculty members, as well as a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We really want you guys to feel comfortable in the classroom, as well as being able to get to know your professors, your peers, raise your hand, ask a question. Definitely don't want you guys to feel like you're drowning within a sea of thousands of other kids. In addition to that, another big part of our manual education actually is that we encourage students and actually require an internship within their 4 years. So that's a huge part of that, whether it's within the city of Boston, whether it's in the greater Boston area, you're going to get a lot of really great internship opportunities here at Emmanuel. We're also part of a consortium called the Colleges of the Fenway. Essentially, we're associated with 4 other schools, including the Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, the Mass College of Art and Design, the Wentworth Institute of Technology, as well as Simmons University. So a big part of that actually is that you can actually cross-register between the 5 schools. So there might be other classes that might pique your interest, say at Simmons or at Wentworth Institute of Technology. You can definitely take those classes, as well as other clubs, opportunities, and student organizations that you can actually get involved in across the 5 different schools. Again, all right here in our Fenway neighborhood of Boston. So definitely a huge opportunity, as well as a lot of really great advantages within that consortium. In addition to that, we actually have over 100 different student clubs and organizations to get involved in here on campus. That's something that we really encourage all of our students to do. Obviously, right now for our rising seniors, as well as our other high school students joining us today, you're in school all day. You might have sports or a part-time job, various different activities and involvements that you might have after school, on top of homework. And then soon enough, you'll be doing college applications, which is just so much fun. So obviously you guys are really pressed for time. In college, it'll be a little different. You could have class from 9:30 to 10:45, class from 2 to 3:15, and then you're just kind of done for the day. So we really encourage our students to get out there and get involved. A few of the examples you can see over here, including our gaming club, our dance team, as well as our foosball club. So a lot of really great opportunities for you to get involved in here at EC. In addition to that, we actually have 16 NCAA Division III teams. So you can see those there. We compete in the GNAC conference, so playing a lot of other schools within New England. If you guys are interested in continuing to playing a sport, definitely look into getting recruited. We can definitely have those kinds of conversations, as well as other different opportunities as well. If you don't want to compete at an NCAA level, we definitely offer a lot of different other athletic opportunities, including club, as well as intramural sports as well. In addition to that, we have over 500 different study abroad opportunities. So that can come in the traditional semester-long experience. Basically how that would work is we find a host university for you in the country that you're interested in going to, figure out what kind of classes that they offer, and see how that kind of fits back into your curriculum. So definitely a very streamlined process. We encourage a lot of our students to take advantage of. However, we also offer shorter study abroad opportunities over the winter and summer breaks. If that's something that interests you, so that way you're not gone for the entire semester, you can just go for a couple weeks, as well as class opportunities. So you can actually take the semester and learn about a specific country and its culture. And at the end of the semester, you'll actually go on a 1 to 2 week trip with your classmates, as well as the professor taught the class, and get really immersed within that culture that you just learned. So a lot of really great opportunities for study abroad, which a lot of our students do take advantage of. So we encourage students to really look into that as well. Kind of going over our application requirements. We are Common App exclusive, meaning that we only take the Common App. There's no other applications or anything like that. We also don't have an application fee for all students who apply through the Common App. As far as what we require, just your standard application essay, transcripts from all high schools you may have attended, as well as 2 letters of recommendation, at least 1 from a school counselor and 1 from an academic teacher. We are a test optional institution. Typically that does not apply for nursing students, unfortunately. However, this past year we did not require test scores for nursing students. We're not sure where we stand as of right now with that, for since we're interested in nursing. However, for all other programs, we are a test optional school. And just connecting us with us going forward. We're on Twitter and Instagram, which I actually also run. So I try to make that as fun as possible. And we are also on Facebook and YouTube, where we do have a counselor series on our YouTube channel. And then also there's my contact information as well. So if you guys are coming up this way, going through 90 and hit up Wellesley as well as Waltham, definitely find us here in the city. And I think that's it for me. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from Babson University.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Guerrero. I am an assistant director on the Board of Admissions at Babson University. My territories are the entire state of Georgia and the Westchester, New York area, but of course, more than happy to help anyone throughout the application process. So a little bit about BU. Here on the first slide, you get to see kind of like the skyline of BU and kind of get to see a little bit of campus. But in terms of BU specific, we are a large private urban teaching and research institution located in the great city of Boston. BU consists of just over 16,000 undergraduate students who are studying across 10 different undergraduate schools and colleges with over 300 programs of study. BU is a world-renowned institution that allows for intellectual growth, countless opportunities for personal and professional development, and an incredible dynamic community. Students apply directly into one program at BU. However, once they are here, they can take classes throughout the various schools and colleges to explore different academic passions that they may have. And this foundation is found in something called the Hub, which is a liberal arts curriculum that all students must complete before graduation. And that flexibility allows students to add on a major, a minor, to do a double major, or even pursue a dual degree, which means that you'll be pursuing a major in 2 separate schools and colleges and graduate with 2 undergraduate degrees. Students have until the end of their sophomore year to declare a major, and we also have a few accelerated programs like the 6-year physical therapy program at Sargent College and the 7-year accelerated medical program. We have a student to faculty ratio of 10:1, which for a large school like BU, that's a pretty solid ratio. And our average class size is 27 students. Of course, depending on your major, the intro courses may be in a larger lecture hall, but as you progress in your academics, classes do tend to become smaller because we love discussion-based classes. BU has one of the oldest and largest study abroad programs in the country, and it's essentially an extension of the global community that we have on our campus. We have over 80 programs in over 20 cities, and London is one of our most popular study abroad destination because BU has a specific satellite campus in London. So that tends to be a popular destination. And approximately 40% of BU students will study abroad at least once under their graduate years. And students are able to explore different cities, languages, and cultures all over the world while staying on track to graduate. And no matter what your major is or academic interest, BU does a great job to make sure that there are a handful of study abroad options for each major. Now, many students do connect with their faculty inside the classroom, but we also find that our students connect with faculty through undergraduate research. BU is a research institution, so you will be conducting research to some capacity as an undergraduate student. We are one in only 65 schools in the US to be a member of the Association of American Universities, AAU for short, which shows that we are a leader in research. We have over $550 million funneling through campus for research alone. Europe is one of the initiatives targeted for first-year students, for undergraduate students to conduct research. We reserve about $1 million every single year for students to receive funding. That'll include a stipend, supplies, and travel expenses for their research program. And they'll also have a professor that's going to mentor them throughout that research process. We have more than 250 students presenting at the annual undergraduate research symposium every year. About 90% of our students will at least have one internship before they graduate, and many will have more, which correlates directly with the fact that within 6 months of graduating, 94% of our students are employed or pursuing a graduate level degree. Now, in terms of the community at BU, we have over 450 clubs and organizations, and we have about 1,000 activities presented by the Student Activities Office annually. Students are able to engage with organizations in residence halls, with different schools and colleges as well, explore new areas of interest. And let's not forget, we have the city of Boston right in your backyard, Fenway Park. We have the public transportation, which runs right in the middle of campus and can take you anywhere in the city. Now, in terms of what we're looking for in the admissions process, as a member of the board, we do a holistic, comprehensive review, and we really are looking for academically accomplished, intellectually curious, and highly motivated students that are going to get involved, start their own clubs and organizations, hit the ground running while they're on campus, and really take advantage that all BU has to offer. Now, last year, we received just over 75,000 applications, and we had over 164 countries being represented on campus. Now, in terms of the first-year students that we have on campus, we have representation from all over the United States, racially diverse, and about 17% of the current student body is first-generation students. We do meet 100% of any demonstrated need for first-year students, and we also reserve 9% of our aid for merit scholarships. In terms of application deadlines, we have early decision 1, which is due November 1st, and early decision 2, which is due January 4th, similar to the regular decision, which is January 4th as well. Now, lastly, make sure you stay connected. I will put my email in the chat box, but again, follow us on all our social media platforms. We have a lot of virtual events happening throughout the academic year and the summer. In terms of visiting campus, some information will come out soon, so make sure that you are looking through our website and staying updated.
Great, thank you. All great information shared by all our representatives. And so we appreciate it all. So thank you for being here. We do have a little bit of time left. So at this point, we're going to pivot now into our Q&A portion of this session. I invite all our representatives to please turn on their cameras, to get ready to unmute themselves, and we'll get started with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? Again, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented in.
I guess the one piece of advice that I would share is ensure that you have fun doing this and that you don't overwhelm yourself too much with too much information. We've just spit a lot of stuff at you in a very big, quick amount of time. There are so many wonderful places out there. So ask for help, use the websites to kind of clarify some things, and keep your list simple. Don't get too crazy with your lists. And reach out for help. We're all going to give our email addresses out there, so feel free to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree, Sarah. That was awesome. And one thing that I would say is kind of similar. I would say don't try to focus on finding the one perfect school for you, because oftentimes it doesn't exist. There are a lot of schools out there that might all be perfect for you, sometimes in many different ways. Maybe the residential life at one campus kind of is the marker of that institution, whereas the academics at another make it the perfect fit for you. So don't write off an institution just because it doesn't have everything you're looking for. That being said, however, you should definitely trust your initial gut reactions that you have to learning about different schools, touring different schools if you get that opportunity to do so. So definitely trust what your gut is telling you. That's often not wrong. I would also say, get in touch with the admission offices and try to see if you can connect with current students in some capacity. Oftentimes schools will have opportunities to sign up to speak to students more formally. But if you reach out to your admission counselors, I'm sure most of them can figure out a way to do that too. There's no better way to kind of learn about the student experience than talking to someone who's directly experiencing it.
My piece of advice, and I swear this is not just because I work at a business school, is to make an Excel spreadsheet. It's for you to stay organized with all of your information. You are going to be inundated with login details for different portals. Every school has different deadlines. You need to keep all that secure and in one place, because you don't want to not be able to access your portal when decisions are released from a particular school. So stay organized, and it should reduce a lot of the stress that can come up around this topic.
My quick piece of advice would just very generally be to make sure that you engage, and along the same lines as Riley was talking about, engaging with current students is hugely important. I think it's important to remember that, this pandemic has been difficult in so many ways, but sort of a silver lining there is that it has forced us, those of us who work in college admissions, reading your applications, to really develop a lot of virtual content and really think differently about how we're bringing our communities to you on a computer screen. So there is no better time than right now to sort of engage with that content, because we've all got it out there online. No longer, right, is the only way for you to visit and engage with the campus just in person. So just remember that as well.
My piece of advice might directly clash with what Ryan just said, unfortunately, but and obviously it might be a little bit of wishful thinking currently, but hopefully as we continue to return to some state of normalcy, would be to try and visit as many schools as possible. Really get a good feel for the different kinds of campuses that there are offered to you. Definitely check out the big state school, check out some of the more urban campuses, and get a good feel for what you like, because you're not really going to know unless you actually get there. So I definitely encourage you guys to try and get a good feel for the schools and see where you can really picture yourself at.
Well, my piece of advice, of course, piggybacking for what everyone has already said, is to exhaust all of your resources. Use your guidance counselor, your admissions representative, your parents, your siblings, whoever went to college. Just use them as a resource to kind of alleviate some of the anxieties that come with applying to college. And one other piece of advice is to, personalize the application as much as you can for whatever schools that you are applying, so you can kind of stand out as a potential candidate.
And I couldn't agree more with all the advice shared by all our representatives. Again, thank you for the great advice and just being a wealth of knowledge about your school, but then also, again, being used as a resource for all those who are still in the process, who are searching, who are figuring out what's right for them. And again, thank you to each of our representatives for being here. We appreciate you all. Thank you for joining us. As we close, there'll be a very quick 4-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is greatly appreciated. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded, including this one, and will be available at strivescan.com/PCACAC. That's all we have time for today. But again, feel free to reach out at any time. And again, we thank you all for joining us. Have a great night.